My good people. Happy 4th of July, man. Hope everybody is having a great day, man. Hope you're spending with some family. Hope you're getting some good barbecue today, some hot dogs. Hopefully by now the cooking has already started for you. And you're getting you somewhere either on the beach, at the lake somewhere, or you're just getting started with some of your plans. Looks like the sun is coming out a little bit here in Georgia, I'm not gonna lie. Storming pretty good here in Georgia. But man, I just wanted to do this special, man. A lot of news happening right now today. Looks like a lot of commitments. I know it is dead week technically. But man, as soon as we get back, I mean, it's basically going to be, all hands on deck, man. All things go. So lots to talk about today, man. And we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. First and foremost, we got to talk about this commitment flip that Georgia Tech just did, right? Georgia Tech just had Isaiah Kenyon flip from the University of Notre Dame to Georgia Tech. I think this was a good get. As I've been saying, I think Georgia Tech is a program on the rise. I've been saying it since last season. They're proving it here with this 2024 class that they got going right now. They're doing a lot of good things. They just landed Christopher Jackson, the 6'4" edge rusher, defensive end from Tucker High School. A lot of teams wanted him. Georgia was in the mix. I think LSU was in the mix as far as his top programs. But I was kind of surprised that they were able to flip him. But man, I thought that was another good one as well. But Isaiah Kenyon, right? So what does he add to kind of your offense, right? He's a 6'3" frame, 185 pounds, right? He can go vertical on you. He's a good deep downfield, a good deep threat on an offense. I think he's very special in the red zone as well, right? That frame, you could throw fade balls to him. He's going to catch them. He can go and run slant routes. He's really good at that as well. He's good at hitches. So anything in the red zone, I feel like you just throw the ball to him. It's good catch radius. I feel like he's going to, definitely make you pay. And we got to see him actually in the Georgia League Classic last season. And he really impressed me as far as just, playing. He was already a highly talented player. Just to him playing an event just shows, he loves the game. And he loves, obviously playing a lot, right? So in that game, he actually caught the game-winning touchdown at the Elite Classic, put his team up 14-10. They ended up winning the game. I thought that was actually great for him. So yeah, man. So Georgia Tech, I think they're getting a great player, right? 395 yards last season, 6 touchdowns. He can also throw the ball. Showed his ability to do that last season. He had over 500 plus yards passing. He had a touchdown pass in the state championship game. They ended up eventually losing. He just faced a better team in Ware County, but he could do a lot, man. I think he's going to add that versatility to Georgia Tech offense. So this was a great flip. I thought that they got, in my opinion, kid's special. It was really, really good, what they were able to do with Isaiah Kenyon flipping him from Notre Dame, because I thought it was a lot to go there. But the fact that he's staying home, he talked about only being 2 hours away from home down south, all his family can come see him on any given weekend. I think what Georgia Tech is doing right now is very, very impressive. So another good get for them. He landed another 4-star player. As I saw somebody in my comments of my personal channel, they were like, well, Georgia Tech is getting 3 stars. But I was like, sometimes it's not about the 3 stars. You never know what a 3-star could turn out to be and turn into, right? So I think them letting these 2 4-stars is going to do a lot for them. Still, recruiting is wide open. Still got a lot of commits that can position to go there in the 2024 class. I think they are doing a really good job currently right now. All right, let's keep it going. Recruiting news. This is a recruiting special. So Kylan Fox is actually going to commit today, July 4th. Yes, at 3 p.m. I think he said he's going to raise it about 15 minutes to his to about 2:45 p.m. on his Instagram. But his finalists is three. He got right now. He got UCF, Georgia Tech, and Florida State. Right. So I think these are really good gets. I think these are good programs as well. They're building in the right direction. And actually, I think the UCF one is very interesting. We'll talk about good players that just recently committed there. But 4 teams are going to the Big 12. You guys didn't know: BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and now UCF. So you're going to be playing in kind of that air raid, kind of pass happy, pass attack kind of programs now, which is going to be very big for edge rushers. Sometimes you see those kind of programs that are lacking corner depth, they're lacking kind of their secondary, but they have really good edge rushers. We end up making it to the NFL. So I think UCF is doing a good job. Gus Malzahn, I think, has a good pulse on the program. He's gotten 2 big recruits out of Georgia recently. So I think this is very key and big for him. But more about Kylan Fox, right? I think this kid is a stud. A multi-sport athlete, also plays basketball as well. His basketball coach, Jeffrey Pierce, raved about his energy, his leadership, how hungry he is, on the court playing basketball. On the field, I really think he was underutilized, right? And I say that because I think this kid has so much potential, right? He only had 25 catches, 326 yards, and then 2 touchdowns, right? He could do so much more than that, right? That 6'4", 200+ pound frame, right? He's really good, in the red zone, right? He runs really good routes, right? Has good feet, right? Has a great, catch radius as well, right? And predominantly Grayson is more known as a run dominant team, but I think this year they have to think about with Jeff Taylor coming back another season after he transferred from down south. This is his second season in the offense. I think they got to think about airing the ball out. They have some good athletes, right? John Senius. They're gonna have Taylor. They're gonna have some really good players along with Dylan Elder, the running back, that can really, I think, help in the passing game. And he's one of them, right? I feel like he can kill any zone coverage if you run cover 3 or cover 4, cover 2. I mean, he's just a mismatch nightmare. And I think whatever school gets him, they're going to really, really get a good player. And he also plays a little bit of edge as well at defensive end, showcases his ability to kind of get around the corner. Has a really good, nice lean, able to get past opposing offensive linemen as well. So I will see. He's actually he's labeled as an athlete. We'll see what he plays on the next level. I think tight end probably is going to be it. But if I had to make a prediction, a crystal ball, see where he goes, I mean, obviously Florida State's in there, but I think it's really between Georgia Tech and UCF, right? And I say that because, UCF is one of his friends, so I'm going to talk about in a second. Walker Flynn actually just committed there, and I like what they're building there. But I think Tech, he posted a lot about Tech, and, he talked about the good things that the program's doing, how kind of impressed he was with Tech, right? So if I had to say, I think it's between those two, and I think he's kind of grappling between, do I join my friend Walt Claire Flynn out there at UCF, or do I go and stay home with Tech? And I know people say, well, Florida State's in there too, but I really think it's between those two programs. It's hard for me to predict between those two where it's just going to be. But if I had to make a prediction, I wouldn't be surprised if he flipped in with the Tech. But if he doesn't, again, that's just a prediction off the top of my head. But I mean, I think they're getting a great, player. He can do a lot of things well. Whoever lands him out of his top 3, they're really going to get a great player. But let's talk about Walt Claire Flynn, who recently just committed as well. I want to show you guys these 2 clips from his Twitter account. I think you guys will really like this. So let me pull it up. I mean, kid is a stud, right? This is what UCF just landed on their roster. I'm about to show you guys in 1 second. Hold on. All right, let's share the screen. Okay, now I want y'all to look at this, right? Let's look at. Look at it. Look at it.
Nah, that don't sound right. They know Newburgh niggas have more dog in the pound, right? Tell them how before you was a op, you was a fan, right? Had to move the unit.
I mean, just manhandling defenders like it's nothing, right? He just tossed him like he was like a, like he was like, an animal hunting, saying somebody, just toss him out the way like you're nothing, right? And then look at this clip too. I want y'all to see this clip as well. I just played this one. This was more recent. This was actually at a padded camp this past week. But look what he does to the defender. Let's look at it. Okay, I'm gonna play it again, and I want y'all just to look at 55. Look what he does to the defender, and look how he finishes the play. Hey man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. You can't coach that. You can't coach that any better. I mean, he gets it. Absolutely gets it. UCF's getting a marquee talent and a player. Great interior offensive lineman. Can't wait to see him on Grayson this upcoming season and see what they're able to do. They really impressed me with their speed. I know, Dave. That's what I said. I mean, that kid's not playing, so that's what UCF just landed, right? Big, rangy offensive lineman can secure the edge. Just mauling defenders out the way like they're nothing, right? Great upper body strength, good core. I mean, that right there, hey man, that's just a different breed, right? So, that's another stud I think they're getting. If you didn't see them 2 clips, man, oh my goodness, it's just absolutely ridiculous, right? So, keeping it going, more recruiting news. We're going to go to Cal running back Elijah Washington. He's actually committed today at 4 p.m. His offers right now from Air Force, Alabama A&M, Tennessee Tech, Buffalo, Austin, PA, Western Kentucky, and the Navy, right? So he kind of gets overshadowed a little bit in the Cal offense. Cal is based out of Marietta, guys. They had a really good run last year. I think they made it to the quarterfinals. They finished second in the region. Cambridge just had a different offense last season, really run heavy, really good senior led group. Will Taylor, Christian Isabor, really good line. But I think this is their region this season. I like the moves that they made, landing transfer Kyle Baca, obviously. Peyton Zachary had an amazing freshman season, nearly 1,000 yards, over, I think, 12 touchdowns. But why Washington doesn't get a lot of, I guess, not say praise, but recognition, anything like that, they have Bryce Claiborne, right? Multi-sport athlete, 3-star right now in the football realm. Right now, he's being featured in the MLB pipeline, right? Could potentially be a top draft pick in the MLB, potentially could, possibly forego college, because how MLB works, right? Don't necessarily have to go to college in order to go to the pros, right? Might play minor league to start, but I mean, you're making money. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. I still think, he has a bright future in football, but you're kind of grappling with that decision, right? You've seen in recent years, Kyler Murray's a notable one, had to kind of grapple with that decision of what he wanted to do. Was selected, I think, by the A's, but decided to stay out in college in Oklahoma, right? So he's in one of those spots as well. But what makes Cleveland so special, right? 2,668 yards passing, right? I think over 20 touchdown passes in the running, right? 789 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns last season, right? It's very, very impressive, And, he's a big part of the offense, right? They run a read option kind of an offense, right? And they can also throw the football. So when they're running the football, they kind of make that linebacker, that edge player, that defensive end, to make him decide, okay, am I going to get the running back or am I going to get the quarterback? So he's featured a lot in the offense. He had the most carries, he had the most yards, but Washington still rushed for 663 yards, 7.7 yards a carry, and 3 touchdowns last season. So he is very, very good. I think whoever gets this guy is really, really underrated. But he's a valuable piece to their offense and what they're doing at Cal. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they run kind of the same offense, will they add some different wrinkles to it? I don't know. I'm just, throwing that out there. But he is a big part of their offense. But Bryce Claiborne is one of the reasons why Washington probably doesn't get enough recognition, because Claiborne does so much, right? He's throwing the football. He's running the football. He's reading the offense. He's reading the defense. He's making checkdowns. He's making reads. He's recognizing what coverage the defense is running. Are they running man? Are they running cover 3? Are they running cover 4? What are they running? So he gets a lot of the kind of recognition of offense. But I still think it's going to be a dynamic offense going next season. And Washington's a really good player. I barely, knew about him too, because like I said, to go back to my point, Claiborne's kind of that big, consummate kind of player and leader for them, and he gets a lot of that notice. But again, committed today at 4 p.m. Go check him out. Go follow his Twitter. I'll probably link that below after I'm done with the live stream today. In other news, North Cobb corner Philip Gagne actually committed to Georgia Southern. Really like the way he played in the 7-on-7 tournament that first day. I think that was June, might have been 13th. I thought they played really well. He was really good at corner, very physical, great at the point of attack, great ball skills, I thought. Georgia Southern, not a Power 5 program, but, D1 program out there in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt, I feel like, is always competitive every year. I think they're getting a great player, very rangy, very physical. It's going to add a lot to the defensive secondary. Can't wait to see them up close and personal this year, because I think North Cobb is kind of getting looked over a little bit out there in 7A, because there's so many really good teams. But I feel like every year, Shane Queen does a good job of getting them prepared to play, right? Getting them prepared to play the top teams, right? They're going to play Buford again, right? I feel like they always play them tough, right? Those kind of games with Buford, they always come down to the fourth quarter, right? End of the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like one play that makes or breaks the game, right? Whether that's a turnover on downs, big play down the field. They're always in it with Buford and always play them tough. And Buford's a nationally known and recognized program. And I feel like North Cobb always plays them very, very, very tough. So can't wait to see how they're going to look this year. They were very impressive in the Quick Kill Classic and a 7-on-7 invitation at Georgia Tech. And I think, once again, they're getting a great commitment decision. But let's look at this. I'm going to share my screen again with you guys. This player right here, he's something special. 5-star safety. Some have him listed as an athlete. But this one, I mean, man, you want to talk about superstar. You want to talk about a player that I definitely think can make it to the league. And I don't throw those proclamations out there very, very often, because it's hard to say that for a high school player. But some you just know are going to play on the next level. You just know they're going to be absolutely just a different breed. And I really think this player right here, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys in just a second, I think this player has that potential. And again, I don't throw this around because, it's hard to kind of know in high school, because so much can go wrong, right? But this is from KJ Bolden. He tweeted this out July 3rd, yesterday at 12 o'clock. Where's home? His top 5 right here: Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Florida State, right? So again, player is an absolute stud. Very, very impressive. Seen him play a couple times. Two-way playmaker, offensively and defensively. I think offensively he'll have a bigger role this season. Buford again, it's kind of like Grayson. They were very run dominant, right? But they had one of the top probably running backs to come through Georgia in the last decade, right? And Justice Haynes, who's probably going to get some playing time as a freshman at Alabama, right? But he still had over 400 yards receiving. I think he had 2 touchdowns. I think 26 plus, catches as well, because he plays both sides of the ball. But I think with them getting Dylan Raiola coming over, I think they're going to be a little more balanced this year. You don't go and get the top player in the country, the best quarterback, and not throw the football. So I think he's going to be more involved this upcoming season. He also ran track, qualified for state in a 100-meter yard dash as a freshman. Really good ceiling, really good on the back end, has great ball skills. Once again, defensively takes the right angles, even though he's only 6 foot, 185. I mean, this kid is not afraid to come down, lay the hit, lay the boom. He's really, really good. Excuse me. So sometimes you'll see safeties I think you're seeing more often now. They're more physical now. But I think before you would see safeties not like to come up, not afraid of contact. This kid, this is not him, right? He loves that, and I can't wait to see what his role is going to be next season. Not on Buford, but that following year when he's in college. When he continues to get bigger, I can easily see this kid at a 6'1", 6'2", 200+ pound safety. We're seeing that in the NFL now. Those kind of safeties, and I think he's very rangy. He reminds me kind of a Jamal Anderson, right? Not afraid to come down, lay the hit, very good in coverage, very good ball skills. He's that kind of a player. And if you go look at Jamal Anderson tape at LSU, I mean, that kid was just a different breed. And I think KJ Bolden has some of those similarities. 5-star for a reason. He's great in man-to-man situations. He's not afraid to go up and go get the ball. I think he's going to add a lot of value to whatever team he goes to. So top 5, I don't know. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I would not be surprised if KJ goes to either not Auburn, I'm sorry, Ohio State, or he goes to Bama. Now, I know he's projected to go to Georgia. Maybe he still will, right? I don't know. But if I had to say a prediction, I think out of those 2 teams, I wouldn't be surprised if he flips there, goes there, and plays for either one of those teams. But whoever gets this kid, they're getting a stud. I think he will be very, very good on the next level. And I think, like I said, I don't say this often, but I think this is one of those players that he's going to make it to the NFL. And I think he's going to have a very, very good career as long as he stays healthy. And I don't usually throw that out there because there's so many variables that can happen, right? It don't translate. You're not getting playing time your freshman year. You transfer, you get frustrated. The coaching staff's not what you thought it to be. But I think this kid just has a talent regardless. I mean, he's been great since his youth days, winning Born to Compete Player of the Year and things like that. This kid is just a different breed. He has the it factor, guys. I'm telling you, he has it. So can't wait to see him play. I'm pretty sure we're going to televise a game this upcoming season at Buford. They're going to have a really tough schedule. I think 2 out-of-state games to start the season. So they're going to be tested early and often, really kind of evaluate where they are. Went out early last year was surprising to many. I just thought, second round exit, that does not usually happen to them. But I just thought they faced a really good quarterback in Jeremy Hecklinski, and that made the difference. You need that elite quarterback to play a team like this that has studs all over, right? Bryce Perry, right, the rising sophomore, Edric Houston, KJ Bolden, now Dylan Raiola, Justin Baker, who doesn't get a lot of notice, but is a 4-star player in the 2025 class. They got studs all over the field. Jaden Perlot, who's going to Georgia. Buford has it, man. And, if you're going to beat this team, you got to be, have good talent, and you got to have a guy that's going to get it done for you. So, again, whoever gets this kid, great get for them. I think he's going to be stud on the next level as well, and he's going to make it to the league. But nonetheless, he just announced his decision for August 5th. Keep it locked for there. That's going to be very, very intriguing. Now let's go to another player I'm going to show you guys. He is not talked about nearly enough, but this kid, he follows me on Twitter. And I think what's interesting about this kid is, and he just posted this graphic right here, his top 10, right here, as you guys can see. But I think what's interesting is, right, they might be building something special out there in Grayson, right? And why do I say that? I say that because they already have a name brand freshman, a rising sophomore, freshman last year, started as a true freshman, Tyler Atkinson, right? He already has over probably double-digit Power 5 offers already as a rising sophomore. This kid kind of, flew under the radar a little bit. You kind of were surprised to see him, but 10 offers already, as you guys can see. Look at the Power Fives he got already on here, right? I'm going to talk about Tech a little bit more in a second, right? Auburn, UCF, Big 12 program now, USF, Arizona State, non-Power 5, East Carolina, Appalachian State, who always plays tough out there in the Sun Belt, Liberty. So for this kid to already have these kind of offers as a rising sophomore, I think is really good. He really surprised me. I'm not going to lie to you. When I seen him in person with Grayson, very rangy man. I mean, he is really good. Sometimes you'll see linebackers struggle in coverage and they get kind of torched by other opposing like tight ends that are mismatches, or sometimes they'll have to play running backs and it's just a walking mismatch. But this guy plays coverage very, very well. He really impressed me at Georgia Tech. Kid got offered on the spot. Yes, kid was offered on the spot from Georgia Tech. That's how good he played. So, I mean, imagine you have Tyler Atkinson on one side of the football field, and you're going to have this guy on the other side, 6'2". He's in the same class as him, class 2026. You add both of those. They already had good linebackers last year, right? Jalen Smith, I think, was going to Tennessee, and then he had Tyler Atkinson. You add two young bucks in there, Anthony Davis, and then you're going to add in a Tyler Atkinson. Yo, Grayson has a linebacking core for the next 3 years locked up. Can you imagine two linebackers for the next 3 years, and you ain't got to really worry about this position? I mean, that just goes to show what they're building out there in Grayson, how they already have the linebackers ready to play. It is not easy, guys, to play as a true freshman of what Tyler Atkinson did last season. And it's not easy to be able to pick it up after just one season and be starting as a sophomore. You know what I'm saying? And that's potentially what Anthony Davis got here. So this is another, I think, phenomenal move, and already got 10-plus offers. I think 5 D1 programs, Power 5 programs are ready for Anthony Davis. So if you guys don't know who this is, you're welcome. I'm letting you guys know this is a name to keep an eye on next season out of that linebacker core. We're going to get to see them in person at the Corey Kell Classic. They're going to play Walton week 1. I think that's going to be such a good game. I hope I get to call it. I only say that because, real quick, I'm going to talk about that and talk about the rest of the players before I conclude. Guys, you got to think about it, right? Grayson, and then you got Walton. Walton just upset one of the top teams usually in the country, right? Superstar quarterback. I still think he's underrated as a 3-star. Kid should be easily a 4-star. They have him barely ranked as a top 100 player in the state of Georgia, and Jeremy Heklinski. Kid's a different breed. You add Wyatt Sonderman on there. You have Cameron Lloyd, Makari Bob for a 3-star, just committed to Memphis. You have Hunter Till, who's a Miami of Ohio commit. Drew Cascone, who's kind of that player that's kind of going into the ranks nobody knows about, but going to, I think, play a really good role for the offense this year. And then I'm going to talk about the left tackle in a little bit. But left tackle is a different breed. This offense is going to be special next year. I don't see very many teams stopping them, right? They are going to be a different breed. You add that with this kind of a team in Grayson that has so much talent defensively, Anthony Davis, as I mentioned, right? Tyler Atkinson, as I mentioned, right? Offensively, Jeff Taylor coming in another year, right? Dylan Elder, John Seniors. You're going to have Kylan Fox. That is a storybook matchup to have to conclude the Corey Kell Classic on a Saturday night. You don't get much better than that. I mean, honestly, you don't. So I think that is going to be a next level matchup. I had to mention that really quick, even though I'm talking about recruiting. Both of those teams, stud players all over the field. I know kind of the Kell and Parkview matchups getting a kind of lot of praise, which rightfully so. Bunch of name brand players going to be playing Power 5 on the next level. But that Saturday night matchup between these two teams, next level. Got to make that known. Let's keep it going. 4-star Buford safety Tyshawn White. I'm going to cut back to you guys for a second. Okay, he just mentioned that he is looks like he's hinting at a commitment decision for today. He has offers right now from Maryland, UNC, Miami, Tennessee, Duke, Tech, Florida, and much, much more. He's projected right now, according to 247 Sports Prediction Machine, to actually go to UNC. I think this is another good get for them, for the program. Really quick about Tyshawn White. He's going to probably be starting alongside KJ Bolden out there in the secondary for the Buford Wolves. So, again, another player to keep an eye on. Again, you wouldn't think he's a 4-star. You just, you don't hear about his name nearly enough. But, again, one of those players, those rangy safeties, I think whoever gets him are going to get a good program. I think UNC has really knocked out their recruiting class, I think, in the 2024, being able to land Ashton Woods, the linebacker from Marietta. Guy kind of does a little bit of everything well. Landing some of those top prospects that they've gotten so far. I think UNC is doing a good job. If they're able to land this kid, I think they're going to have a really, really good defense in a couple of years. and a team that's going to be obviously competitive. They played in the ACC championship last year against Clemson. Unfortunately, lost, but the fact that their coach has them where they are, Mac Brown. I mean, man, UNC is doing also a really good job at ACC competing. Another one of those teams, a lot of people think it's going to be Clemson and obviously Florida State this year, but UNC, I think Georgia Tech, some of those teams like could be. Don't be surprised if they go up in there, maybe get an upset on any of these teams. So wanted to give him a shout out. He's hitting a commitment decision today. And then this one right here, I'm going to actually share my screen again with you guys. I want you guys to see this commitment decision as well. This is from Quad Birdsong. I thought this was really, really interesting. He actually flipped, and so I think UCF is doing actually a really, really good job of what they're doing. It might be okay. Here it is. I found it right here. Okay, let me share the screen again with you guys. Give me just 1 second. All right, let's share the screen. Okay, guys, so look at this, right? So I thought this was really interesting because, Clark Birdsong is a really good linebacker, right? He led his team in tackles last season. He had 12 and a half tackles for loss. Go look at the article written by Chad Simmons on 3. I thought he did a good job summing up why this kid decided to go to UCF. And I thought he did a good job of kind of what he said about him. And he kind of views himself as a kind of an edge player, right? Kind of that defensive end. Per se. And I think he knocks that out of the box, right? Because he liked the linebacker coach. I think it's Ernie Sims there. He really was impressed with them. He likes that UCF is moving to the Big 12. In addition to 4 teams I mentioned, they're still going to have, TCU. They're going to have Kansas State still there. They're going to have Kansas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State. They're still going to have teams that like to throw the football, right? And I think that really helps, obviously, them, kind of going forward. Far as being able to rush the passer, being able to create pressures, being able to be disruptive. They land this kind of kid. He's a stud to go along with Walker Flynn. As you guys just seen his highlight clip, off the change, different breed. But yeah, man, they're gonna get a really good commit with this one. I think he's easily the best player on Troup County. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, from him, decommitting from Cincinnati and going UCF. But again, he thought it was best for him. He said it's one of the hardest decisions he had to make. Choosing between those two schools, but he felt like he did what's best for his future. And that's what matters at the end of the day, doing what's best for you and for your future. And I think, he chose a really good program. He decommitted June 15th, committed to UCF on July 2nd. So again, a great player. He shut down his recruiting now, and he's going to try to help them land more great targets. So again, a great player. Go check out the story on On3Sports.com. Great article written by Chad Simmons. I thought that summed up his commitment decision, how good of a player he is, and what stood out to him. Another great decision. But before we wrap up some of the recruiting, let's go ahead and get one more key player. Guys, Daniel Calhoun, as I just mentioned, from Walton. Guys, this kid is different, right? 6'6", I think 360 plus pounds. He is going to be their anchor, right? I mean, this kid at the Patty camp at Milton, I wish I could have went, right? It was Milton, it was Douglas County, it was Walton, it was Warner Robins, I think it was Harrison, and it was another team, right? But get this, and I don't feel like Walton had this last year, right? In addition to kind of being an air raid type, but being able to beat you with Makari Bodford out there in the backfield, right? I don't think they had no prospect like this on their line last year. No disrespect, right? But what he's doing on the edge, imagine he's blocking Jeremy Helinski's blind side at 6'6", 360. And I mean, if you go look at the padded camp, he's just throwing defenders out of the way, right? He's good in pass protection, in pass pro, right? He's good with them running the football, creating lanes for the running back. They already had a good offense last year. I mean, you add another stud left tackle to the offense this upcoming season. I mean, they're going to be able to do almost anything they want, right? Only thing that'll be able to stop them is maybe turnovers. That's it. And as Coach Daniel Bruno always says, 3 things he wants to do. He wants to win the opener, win the region, and win the close. And the close is the state championship game. I thought they had a good chance to do it last year. 7A is still tough. Got Carrollton in there. I think you got, Mill Creek's going to be competitive. You got Milton. You got Buford. You got Walton. You got North Cobb. We got so many teams in there that can contend for a title, I think, this season. But the fact that they have that left tackle, I think is going to really help Walton next season. And they're going to be right there, I think, once again. And they're in the tough region. They got North Cobb. They got a couple other good teams out there. I can't think of my top of my head, but I know North Cobb is one of them. It's Walton. I think it's Kennesaw Mountain. I think it's another one. It's a couple others. But I think it's right there for them to win the region. And crazy to think, Walton pulled off that upset, didn't even win the region last year. That goes to show you. But this kid actually is committing on July 5th, so actually tomorrow. I think Brett Greenberg, go follow his Twitter. He had a really good story on him. He actually announced the decision to him about when he's going to commit. I'm not sure his top teams. I know Georgia's in there. I know Bama's in there. I think Auburn's in there as well. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I would not be surprised if this kid actually chose Alabama. Why do I say that? Because I think he fits the prototypical kind of tackle for an Alabama program, right? 6'6", athletic, rangy, mauls defenders, good in pass pro, good in running. I think he just embodies that, and I think that's a program that can get the most out of him. Not saying the Georgia can't, not saying the Auburn can't, not saying the other programs in his finalists cannot. I just think he fits best in the Alabama program because everything he has, the athleticism he has. A lot of times you don't see guys so athletic at 6'6", 360 plus pounds. This kid is athletic. You could tell he wants it. He's hungry. I think this would be a great fit for the Alabama program, and they're going to really solidify, their tackle on the offensive line in seasons going ahead. So I think this would be a great get. We'll see tomorrow. He's going to announce his commitment decision. And then EJ Colson actually announcing his commitment decision on Thursday in Byron, Georgia, at his middle school that he went to. Again, he's one of those guys. I love these kind of stories, guys. If you guys don't know me by now, I love these kind of commitment decisions and stories because EJ was underrated, right? EJ was not even known, right? EJ was a player that most people overlooked, right? And it's so crazy because go back and look at some of our games, right? I think I have a clip I might have put on our YouTube page. Go look at EJ Colson when he was talking to Kaylee, right? And he said, she asked him a little bit about his recruiting. And you can just tell how he felt about it. And he was like, well, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna just keep working. Kid was unranked at that point. Obviously he was young, he's only a sophomore at that point. But the fact that he went from unranked, they beat Calvary Day handedly, really, in that game, had them compete in the state championship game. They ultimately lost, but you could tell he's a quarterback that gets it, gets the reads, knows how to get into the good plays and things like that. The fact that he went from that, not being ranked, not on anybody's radar, to a 4-star player, I mean, man, that says a lot. And I want to pull up this graphic really quick for y'all on 247. I just want you guys to see the offers that he has now and the decision that he's going to be able to make of where he wants to go. And actually, I think very warm right now is UCF. So, UCF, they land. Think about this. We're going to talk about UCF one more time. Think about the fact that possibly, I don't know where he's going to go, but potentially Kylan Fox, right? EJ Colson, excuse me, and then you're going to have Walker Flynn, and you already have Qual Burson. You learn those 4 players from Georgia. I mean, oh my goodness! Like you talk about knocking out your 2024 class, that's doing it. Obviously, EJ Colson's a 2025 player, but still, in that 2024, 2025, you learn that kind of a player. Look out, man! Come on. So let's look up EJ Colson really quick. I just want to show you guys his offers. Again, 4-star player. But he's going to announce his decision. So let me pull up the screen really quick for you guys so you guys can see. Okay, so as you guys can see, UCF, he's very warm right now. He has offers from Arkansas, Charlotte, Cincinnati, Florida Atlantic, Florida Memorial, Georgia Southern, Middle Tennessee State, Morehouse College, Nebraska, UAB, Virginia Tech, and Western Kentucky. So that's what he has right now on 247 Sports as far as his offers go. Again, a great quarterback, really good decision maker, doesn't turn over the football a lot. So we're going to see where he goes. I wouldn't be surprised at that list if he goes to UCF. I think he can have even more, major factor D1 Power 5 offers potentially if he wants to this upcoming season. Because Cedar Grove's a team, and I love what John Adams does with that program. They're always going to play the top talent. They're not even a big school, right? In Georgia, just to tell you guys, they are a 3A program, right? 3A program is playing some of the top programs in 7A, right? They're playing the Collins Hills. They're playing the Mill Creeks. They're playing the Houston counties. They're playing these top programs out there in 7 and 6A with no problem and competing at a high level. I mean, that's next level. They always have good talent coming out of Cedar Grove. And the fact that he is actually the leader of that, and he's actually, the quarterback and makes all these decisions and does a really good job, I think that just says a lot of who he is and what he's doing. So that's what I got, guys, as far as commitments today. Keep it locked. We're going to have more details going forward. I would have invited Craig, but I know Craig is enjoying his 4th of July, so I did not want to disturb him. Craig works really, really hard. He's doing an alumni event, so I didn't want to really disturb him on his day off. It is a day off for us I just want to do this because there's so much going on in the recruiting world. Have to give you guys a scoop of what's going on and how these programs are doing as far as on the high school and college level. So hope, Craig, you are enjoying your 4th of July as well as the rest of the people I work with. But I didn't want to do this special. So thanks for the 5 people that tuned in consistently to watch this recruiting special. If you guys have any questions, throw them below. Dave, I know you're watching. Throw some questions in there before I conclude the show today. Would love to answer them. I know you talked a little bit about NBA, but before I get to that, did anybody else in recruiting have any questions about what's going on in the next few days and anything about commitments or anything like that? Throw them in the chat below wherever you're watching. Would love to answer them. I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds, and if not, I'll conclude with a little bit of NBA and then call it a day. Good question. Okay, so you said, do I have any Maryland or Ole Miss recruiting news? As of right now, I do not. But what I can do for you, I can see what they have been doing, and we can look at it together. As far as what's been going on with Maryland. Let's see, Maryland recruiting. I have not heard a lot around their programs. Let's see. I'll do that for you. Look really, really quick. Let's see, that's basketball. Okay, so right now they're currently actually ranked. I'm going to share the screen with you guys actually as well. We're gonna look on 247 Sports. Make sure you guys go give them a follow and watch. But right now they're ranked currently number 43 in the class. Let's say they landed a really good running back actually a couple days ago, Dijon Williams from St. Francis Academy. What I can tell you guys about that program is they are one of those top programs. I believe Buford is actually going to play them this year. But year in year out, St. Francis is usually pretty good. I think he's a 4-star for a reason. I don't know a lot about him, but I can tell you that St. Francis usually produces some really good tailbacks and usually has some really good programs. As far as other people they've landed, it looks like Keyshawn Flowers out of Archbishop Spalding, Anthony Reddick out of Phoebus, looks like Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, Larry Tarver Jr. out of TRU Prep Academy from Florida, Justin Aronco from looks like Germany. 6'3" linebacker, 200 pounds. Okay, I can't tell you about this guy right here. Okay, Lakai Rowland, cornerback, 6'1", 175. He is from Georgia, the Cedar Grove program I just mentioned a little bit ago. Very good rangy corner. What I can say about their corners, they're very smart and intelligent at Cedar Grove. Their defensive backs coach always has them ready to play. They're not afraid to be physical usually. They're very good in coverage. They're good at running any kind of coverage they throw. They're good at getting beats on the football. They can kind of pick up when the offense is doing really quick, which is why I said they're rangy and they're smart. So I think this is a good get for Maryland. The cornerback 3-star, they're like, oh, it's only a 3-star. He is a good player out of Cedar Grove. Potentially could come in and start, I think, early. Looks like they also got a really good tackle out of Meadow Creek. Donovan Thompson, big guy, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, about 6'6". I think he's let me see. Hold on, guys. He's about 6'6", or excuse me, 6'4", 302. The guy's pretty big, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Meadow Creek, they're known for running the football. What I can say about Meadow Creek really quick, guys, is that they were very competitive in our Corky Kell 707 tournament. They have some really good players. They're going to be really good defensively this year, but I think this is another good get offensive tackle from Meadow Creek. Very rangy, very, very, very good. And it looks like they got Michael McCongle, offensive tackle as well from William Penn out of Pennsylvania. Kayari James, linebacker from Clearwater, and then Michael Hershey from Spring Grove area. So that's Maryland's class. I have not heard a lot of buzz out of them. I'm being honest with you. I do love the question. But let's take one more quick look. We're going to also look at Ole Miss recruiting class as well. All right, let's take a look. Okay, this is 2023. They did pretty good. They were number 18, so top 20 class in 2023, and then they transfer ranked. They were number 6 in the country, so not bad. Right now, currently sit at a top 21 program. For Ole Miss, as far as recruits, looks like they're getting a lot from Alabama and Mississippi, Bay Springs, they got Cameron and Bevers, who's a four-star player, number 3 in their state of Mississippi, number 19 in this position. Travaris Banks, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, safety, four-star player as well, just committed on June 18th. Jeffrey Rush from Pascagoula, Mississippi, defensive lineman, four-star player. They're doing pretty good with the four stars right now. Desmond Williams from Bastrop Chandler, Arizona, quarterback, four-star player, number 5 in his state. Let's see, Anthony Robinson, third athlete out of Deshrin, looks like Louisiana, three-star player. Let's see who else they got. Raji Dennis, wide receiver, three-star, kind of a player. It's like Jude Foster from Southern Lab, Baton Rouge, offensive tackle, three-star player, number 29 in their state. Jeremy Scott from Callaway, Jackson, Mississippi, wide receiver, three-star player, number 31 in the state. Aiden Jaff, safety, three-star player, committed June 23rd. And then Shamar Darden, safety as well from Mississippi, three-star. And then this land, it looks like Raymond Collins, linebacker. So not a lot to say about their class either. What I can tell you guys is that they're not letting a lot of players out of Georgia. Right. Yeah, no players from Georgia from Ole Miss right now. A lot are coming from Mississippi. But looks like that's where a lot of the players are coming from currently right now, from the state of Mississippi. So that's a quick little thing. I didn't know a lot about Maryland Ole Miss class, but again, as I told you guys, I am trying to expand my base as far as just commitments and as far as following programs and how they're doing. I know a lot about the Georgia players because they're so easy to follow. I'm in the state of Georgia. I am on TV. I do Peachtree TV. Things like that as well. I do go to camps and things like that. I do work with some of the top recruiting people, in the country. Rusty Manziel, go give him a follow on Twitter. Guy's great. Really good for young journalists if you're trying to learn more about the game. He has the inside scoop on everything. Has his website, Dogs HQ, really good with that. Chad Simmons is another one. He does a little bit of like kind of national. He be all over, man. He be in Seattle. I'd be seeing him in Washington, all over the country. So, really, really good person to follow as well. So I do kind of work, a little bit with them. So I do get scoops on things like that, but I am trying to broaden a little bit and learn more about other players. Team I think out of Alabama people should follow and check out the Twitter. I'm trying to link some of the stuff below is Moody, Alabama. Not talked about enough, but they were 10-2 last year, 5-1, got some great players. Amon Lane, four-star, just committed, I think, earlier this year to Auburn. Great rangy player, man. They played really competitive. I think they made it all the way to the quarterfinals in our 7-on-7 tournament. I think that kid is really, really good and special. His background, where he comes from, what he's been through, I think he's another one of those players that has the potential to be able to play at an elite level on the next level and potentially, set himself up to play on Sundays. That's all going to be up to him, but he's a really great player. Josiah Dozier, another player, 15. I think he's a rising sophomore. He's going to be a player to watch out for. Could be due for a big prime season for Moody, Alabama. Their quarterback's really, really good. They got a really good running back as well. I mean, they got studs and stars all over the field. So Moody, Alabama is a team, if I had to say out of high school that's not in Georgia to go watch for, that is a team to watch out for. Obviously, you got your St. Francis, you got your Bufords, you got your Mater Days, you got your Bishop Gormans, and things like got your Carrolltons and things like that. In the state of Georgia, your Waltons, your Miltons. But those are some of the programs I'll watch outside of the state. But that's all I got. I'm going to conclude that on recruiting. I'm going to talk really quick, guys, just about a couple minutes on NBA, some of the shockers. I think Dame should go to the Miami Heat. I think he's a great player. I think he needs to get out of Portland. And I know that I don't think Miami has the best package to offer Portland. But Dame is just he's a different breed. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe ends up in Philly or Boston. I think they have more assets to offer potentially Portland. But I think if it's going to work for Miami, they're going to need about 2 to 3 teams. So I think a 3-team or 4-team trade for it to go through. And the reason I say that is because, I don't think Tyler Hero, a couple draft picks, and Duncan Robinson is enough to land Dame, right? They want a kind of star level package. So I think in order for that to be like that, I think they got to be able to trade some other pieces. And I think really Boston has some of the best pieces they could probably trade to get Dame. Also Philly, that's if they want to move off Tyrese Maxey. That's kind of an up in the air one. I don't know. But I would love to see him compete for Miami. And I say that because they have Jimmy Butler, who's a star player. They got Bam Adebayo, had a really good final series, 20-plus points. 10 plus rebounds, really played well. I mean, you know, anybody, it's hard to guard Jokic, yo. Jokic is just a different breed, one of the best players in the game right now. But to be able to have a killer, be able to have somebody that has long range sniping ability, has to be able to hit from 30 feet, be able to go get you a bucket, be able to close games, great mid range game, can finish around the rim. That's what Dame brings. And I think that's what Miami's really missing, right? Their depth might not be as good as before, but look what they did with undrafted players, right? From a lot. Like Max Strus just got it bad. Gabe Vincent got some good money. Duncan Robinson played the best we've probably seen him play in a Miami Heat uniform. Them getting Dame, I'm sure they'd be able to get the complementary and consummate pieces around him in order to fit. I just think it'd be a great fit for him. He's not going to a team that's OP. He might be like, oh, well, they made the finals. Oh, well, they've been in the finals the last 2 or 4 years. They've been in the East Coast Finals the last 3 or 4 years, but they have not been able to get over the hump, right? Dame doesn't give them an overpower. Dame gives them a more competitive, can possibly finish the job and go continue to compete for a championship. So it's different than like, you know, saying KD joining, Golden State. Maybe you see back in the day LeBron joining Miami Heat with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. It's not like that, right? Because Miami's missing a guy that can close games. And if you go back and look at the finals against the Nuggets, like they couldn't, like when they needed a bucket the most, Miami couldn't get it. Like Jimmy Butler could not deliver that bucket when he needed the most. Did he have a great series? Sure. You know what I'm saying? Did he have moments in the series? Yes. But to consistently have a guy that can go get you a bucket, that can hit long range, it's just going to open up the floor, right? Jimmy's going to have better cutting lanes, right? Bam's going to have easy lob throws towards the rim, right? He's going to be open on his mid-range block more. Jimmy Butler's going to be able to, get to the rim better. He's going to be able to have more open shots because Damian Lillard's going to have all that pressure. If you go look at him in Portland, like Damian Lillard is blitzed all the time, right? You got 2 defenders being thrown at him consistently, right? That's just going to open up other lanes for shooters, and it's going to open up lanes for bigs to get to the rim and for cutters and slashers as well. And they're going to have so many more open shots. It's going to be Miami knocking them down, which more than most they'll be able to obviously do. So Dame, I think, is going to add a lot to that team. They're going to be very, very, very good, I think, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, but keep your eyes on that in the coming days. But that is all I got for you guys today. Recruiting special, and a little bit about NBA. Keep it real short today. I did this today because, it is 4th of July. I know we weren't going to have a show with me and Craig. Again, I want him to enjoy his time with his family, enjoy his time kind of off. Kid works really, really hard. So I just did this special because I wanted to, and I want to talk about the recruiting news. So we're not going to have a show Tuesday at the Underrated and Overlooked podcast, and then we're not going to have a show. I don't know about Wednesday because I think Craig's supposed to be out of town. So I want to do this today, but keep it locked. I'm going to be back with my show on Thursday, live at 2 p.m. Keep it locked. I'm going to have a Texas player I'm going to do a film breakdown on and tell the tape on. I'm going to have several Georgia players as well. So keep it locked for that. You guys will enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoy the 4th of July with your family. Thanks for the 6 people that watched the show today. You guys helped me so much. Thank you, Dave, as always, for always tuning in with your insight and always asking questions to me and kind of an active listener. So we appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great 4th of July.